Mod showcase. I'm just gonna pretty much go through everything. Give it a second, it's gonna freeze. Don't worry about it. I clicked off of it. We're gonna go into the test stage and we're gonna turn on adventure spin effects and the curved jump dash type. Alright. Now I'm gonna try to go from the top of the list to the bottom of the list in the changelog. So we're going to start out with the spin effects, which is going to be a little bit slow because I have to go back into the main menu to change those. So just give it a second to load. And then, for the adventure spin effect, the blink is now random. You'll notice it doesn't just go in and out normally. No longer blinks during the downward bound attack. You'll notice it stays one solid sphere. Rail switching plays an alternative animation. The rolling animation, because I feel like it would fit Adventure 1 that way. The spin kick plays the rolling animation instead. Again, would fit Adventure 1 considering this is how Adventure 2 works. And the curved jump dash plays a different animation. This is supposed to be sort of a reference to how in Adventure 1 Sonic just sort of falls when you spin it, when you homing attack. Like, it just pushes him forward and takes him out of a roll. There isn't really a good animation for that here, because the falling animation also includes the upwards falling animation. So I just took the kick animation and I rotated it. You'll also notice that the trick jumps no longer play an animation. And again, that's because I feel like that would fit Adventure 1. Maybe I should have kept one of them. But yeah. Now we're up to the curved jump dash. Keeping speed. It keeps speed up to a point. It takes in speed, kind of like the legacy jump dash. It also takes in air velocity, like the old legacy jump dash. So it's basically the old legacy jump dash. Yeah, now we can change to the other two. And I think for this, we're just gonna keep it this way. Until we get to something that requires it to change. So the Adventure 2 spin kick plays the roll animation, as you can see. The trick jump out of spin kick is now this, because based on my memory of SA2. And some jump pads, like the one up here, play a different animation. Normally that would just put you in a roll, but now it uses this. Let's see. The legacy jump dash is a double jump now. And that's pretty much it for that. Now we can go on to dash pads. Let's go look at the dash pads. Go over here. Now, instead of just setting your speed like this, if you're going into them faster than the speed that they set, all they do is change your direction and don't affect the speed at all. Unless you're going at 3 times the set speed, which I can maybe do if I spin dash blue gem. Upgrade this real quick. And then stand back a bit. Aim. Alright. Stand back a little bit further, because I forgot how much meter the spin dash drains. Nope. Okay. That's annoying. This pretty much only happens in Flame Core after the automation. Anyway. The rails. Right. Let's go to the rails. They now take in whatever speed you went into them at and slowly caps it. This means that doing a grind trick will temporarily increase your speed, and then it will get set back down to the max speed. The grind excel speed is also slower than the de facto max speed. Just to give you a reason to actually do the trick. Let's see. Jumping off the rail in left or right direction will play the change rail animation, but only the left one. I couldn't get the right one to work for some reason. It must be coded a little bit weirder than most other animations. Rails have even more gravity, which is difficult to explain. Well, it's easy to explain. Basically, rail go down, you go down on rail. Well, there's that. You'll notice he's not actually going backwards at all. Well, now he is. But that's pretty much the only reason the grind acceleration is still a thing. It used to not be a thing. I took it out before, but now it sort of prevents you from going backwards in Shadows Crisis City on that rail section. That's a bug. If you have 0 speed and you do a grind trick, you do that. I don't think that Death Plane is quite big enough, so we're just gonna go over here. And different characters have different grinding gravity. So for example, the lightest character right now is Tails, and the heaviest is Omega, and that's reflected in the grinding gravity. The list is Tails, Hedgehogs, Knuckles and Rouge, Elise, and Omega. Elise is the second heaviest because it is Sonic plus a human person. Slope physics. Let's go talk about slope physics. I'll probably copy and paste the changelog into a comment so that you can go and follow along. You don't immediately turn around when you're running uphill and you stop running. So for example, you'll notice I'm stopping the control. Oh, hold on. I stopped holding the controller. Sonic gradually slowed down before turning around. Now, it's a little bit weird because if you're going like sideways, ordinarily you should, Sonic should turn to face instead of, he should turn to face the downward direction, but I don't know how to make him do that. And you'll notice that running uphill actually slows you down. It does that already, but that pretty much only happens if you're going at like 90 degrees up. So now it happens pretty much anywhere, but it only slows you down up to a point. I think it's like 0.6% of your maximum run speed it slows you down to. And going downhill while holding a direction actually works. You actually gain speed now. And I think, I might be wrong, but I think you end up going faster or gaining speed faster than you would if you did slope physics the old way, which is to completely let go of the control stick and let Sonic just run down. Braking up and down the hill is different. If you're going up the hill, you brake faster, and if you're going down the hill, you brake slower. Or it takes longer, I guess. And the rate at which you gain speed going down a hill is also reflected the same way in the weight system I talked about earlier. With the exception of Shadow, who goes downhill as quickly as Elise because of his skates. Another thing, going uphill with, tell you what, I'm just gonna change on the spot. With, for example, Silver, you don't lose your speed going uphill. And this is the same for 90-degree slopes. And that's because Silver's run animation is floating off of the ground. So I just think it makes sense that he wouldn't be affected by upward, he wouldn't be affected by this, basically. He is still affected by the downward speed, though, for gameplay reasons. But I can go ahead and show off Shadow, who is unique a little bit with slopes. So he gains speed faster than Sonic, obviously, you can tell. But he also loses speed going uphill slower. But he doesn't, like... He doesn't get to keep his speed all the way up. Like, he still loses it, but he loses it slower than everyone else. Again, because of his skates. Anyway. That is slope physics. Wind physics we can't talk about here because I don't think there's any wind in the test stage. Slow fall. Excuse me. Slow fall, which is basically the state that you go into after light dashing or homing attacking or getting off of a rail. Now keeps your speed for longer instead of instantly destroying your speed. This is best demonstrated with this light ring. Look at that. So that's pretty cool. The normal speed cap, which is your max running speed cap, is applied slightly slower, so you keep more speed after gaining it, basically. Blinking after getting hit is random, in a similar way to the jump ball and the Adventure 1 spin effect. And then a couple others. The Radical Train is now a lot faster, or it has the capability to go a lot faster because of some supersonic changes we'll get into later. And there's a few animation changes here and there. For example, the bound attack keeps the rolling animation throughout the whole thing. I just think it makes sense because you still have the attacking hitbox on the way down. And it's not like the jumping animation where you bounce off of them. This is like you tear through them. Anyway, Sonic. The action gauge is visible. You might have noticed that since the beginning. And the reason for that, you might have noticed, is that the spin dash uses it. A couple things about the spin dash. You'll notice uncharged spin dash has been nerfed slightly, I think. Maybe I reverted it, I can't remember. But that's because it's much faster when charged. And you saw there, you actually have a visual indicator that it is fully charged, and the meter stops draining at this point. Now, it shoots you off really, really quickly, which is neat. And the charging does not cost meter if you are supersonic. Let's see. Spin kicking no longer retains your momentum. You'll notice Sonic is actually slowing down, despite doing the spin kick trick. So that's something. The light dash is faster, you saw that earlier. And that also applies to Shadow. The bound attack, you might notice, uses gravity. So, whereas before, you would go downward at a set speed. And now, you sort of gain speed as you go down. Let me show you what this looks like. By going over here. To a ramp. Ramps are the easiest way to show this off. Pretty cool, huh? Another way to show it off is to do this. Normally that takes forever. If you mess around in the test stage, you might know that. Slide attack. Time has been increased. Sorry, that was a little dent in the terrain. Now I can show this off. You'll notice he's not getting out of it. That's because it lasts for 16.5 minutes. So, basically it lasts forever. And this is because in Aquatic Base, Sonic literally says, if I slide, I can squeeze through. But trying to do this will make you get hit on the last laser because it doesn't last long enough. So now it lasts forever. This also applies to Sonic and Elise. Let's look at the gems. Blue? Pathetic. Look at that. Look at that sad little burst of speed. It's sad, it's little, and you don't even gain that much speed. But now, and it drains a lot of meter. Now, at level 2, okay, starting to get somewhere. Well, where? Well, at level 3. Now, you start to notice, wait a second, this thing isn't capped. There's no speed cap on this thing. Huh? Whoa. That's the thing about that. Oh yeah, and you can do this. Yeah, it works in the air. Anyway, let's look at red. Red's a lot easier to show off. Same basic thing, you'll notice that it drains half your meter upon using it, and that's because it increases your top speed and your I don't know what you call it. Your it increases your top speed and your speed. Acceleration, that's it. So it's a little bit more like how it was in the original. I should probably add rotation speed to the mix. And probably break speed. And a lot of other speeds that it might affect. But right now I'm happy with it. Let's look at Supersonic. I'm gonna get a whole bunch of rings for this. And also, we're gonna go ahead and upgrade it to level 3. Supersonic. We need to go over here to show off the first thing. Because when you transform, something happens. First of all, you draw in rings. Second of all, you have a huge explosion around you. So that's pretty cool. The quills are not as stiff. They float around a little bit more. Some of the animations are changed. For example, you'll notice in the rolling animation, Sonic's quills are down. Same for the jumping animation, for the spin dash animation, but you can't really see it because of the fucking effects that Supersonic has. Sorry for swearing, I just don't like the effects. Well, I like the effects, it's just, they're a bit too much. Let's go in there real quick to show off the final thing that Supersonic has to offer, outside of Mach Speed, and that is, we just get a few more rings, Flight. So, Supersonic flies now, instead of what it used to do. On the ground, it's basically just a quick little boost that comes out instantly. And is actually based on how much speed you have going into it. So for example, if you charge a spin dash and then you go real fast, but you also drain more rings that way. Because you'll notice doing it this way instantly loses you a couple of rings. And Flight, as well, similarly, drains rings. And this is based on both how fast you're going and how your upward velocity. So for example, if you're going up while flying, you'll drain more rings. It also pulls the camera back. I had to figure out how to do this, and I'm really satisfied with it. Let's talk about the controls real quick. The controls are hold right trigger to fly, release right trigger to stop flying. You need your entire maturity gauge, just like in Retail Project 06, which is a weird thing to say. B is a quick drop, and you'll notice you actually gain a meter when you use your quick drop. The X button is a boost that drains more rings and more meter, and the A button is to fly upward. If you run out of rings or meter while flying, your controls are locked, and so you can't really move around, and your speed is reduced. Let's show off something I forgot to show off before. Your bound attack. I realize I wasn't quite finished talking about it. It now only takes 3 bounds to get to your top bound attack height. Not to mention the new functionality. So if you're dropping from high enough and you hold the X button, when you hit the ground, you will do a drop dash. Unless you are not holding the control stick, in which case you will stop in place. So let's see how that works. Incredible. You'll notice the drop dash does drain meter, and this is based on how fast you are going downward when you hit the ground. So if we're up here, Sonic gets spit out much faster, and he also drains much more meter. You can also use it without meter, but you won't get much of a speed boost this way. You'll notice he just gets spit out at whatever speed he's already going at. Anyway, that's Sonic. Next up should be Mach Speed Sonic, but we can cover that later. So for now, let's just go on to Elise. Elise's homing attack, which is right now the Legacy Jump Dash, is... well, in this case, it's higher than normal Sonic's, but in the case of Straight Jump Dash, which is what we will switch to now, because this is an opportunity to do that. Excuse me. It goes a lot further. And, I think slightly faster as well. Not only that, but it locks on from much further away, too. the reason for this is that Sonic and Elise need all the help they can get, because right now they are not fun to play as. And also the slide kick, the anti-gravity, does 2 damage instead of 1, for the same reason. Now we go to Tails. Wait, no, Tails only has 1 change, and it is his little helicopter attack that I don't think a lot of people really know about. It's edited slightly, so now it's actually, like, feasible to tear through an enemy this way. Let's, go over here. Let's go underneath this guy. Dang it. Okay. Basically, it's a bigger attack range, which means you'll find yourself, if the enemy's higher up off the ground, you'll find yourself not taking damage yourself more often. Let's go on to Knuckles. Knuckles has a couple of changes. His glide is a lot heavier, you'll realize. It's more similar to its retail functionality, as well as earlier Project 06 demos. It also takes in upward momentum. You'll notice, going upwards. I think this is how it worked before, but I think I took that out in an old version of my mod. And hitting enemies while gliding spits them out into a jump. This is to incentivize ground combat and to give him some more aerial mobility, I guess. Vertical mobility, that is. The climb, I have nerfed the jump from the climb. And that's because I made him climb faster, so I needed to arbitrarily make this actually noteworthy. If you hear my dogs, I apologize. They are barking like crazy right now. Those are the changes to the climb. And now for the punch. We're gonna go ahead and restart here to show this off. Number 1. The normal combo is a lot larger of a radius. Which is... I just exaggerated them to make it like... I guess to make them more different from each other. The punch finisher now does not reset your speed when it finishes, and also goes a lot further. So you'll notice he goes into his running animation at the end there. For just a little bit, you still damage enemies that way. Okay, I was slightly too late, but you get the idea. And then the uppercut. I've changed the animation slightly. That's because it now lasts longer. So that if you miss, if the first hit doesn't connect, you can now take out, I think these guys have 6 health enemies in one go. Which I think is what this attack is used for, or should be used for anyway. Let's see. Let's go over here to show off the ground shaker, which is, I guess it's called the Quake move in the file. It's called the ground shaker. The range has been increased on this thing, or it should have been at least. And you'll also notice it has a small attack range, which goes about the distance of the original stun range. Slightly less. That was done to make it useful. And also, it works the same way Sonic's bound attack does with the gravity. Let's go on to the homing range, which is this move that nobody uses. I have increased it to that of, well, Sonic and Elise's. It also does like 2 or 3 damage, which I don't know if that was me or if that was how it always was, but that's how it works, I guess. So that's Knuckles. Now we can go on to Shadow. Well, I'm gonna restart first, just to get the enemies respawn. The jump dash and homing attack range are increased, the same way Sonic and Elise's were. And his legacy jump dash is higher. He's more slippery, is how I put it. Basically, his normal break is, like double. So, just letting go of the control stick without going into the actual break animation. He's a little bit slightier, I guess. And his rotation speed is also more than normal. On account of his skates. His actual braking is like twice the speed. Again, on account of his skates. The spin dash is similar to Sonic, and unfortunately, I have also made it drain meter, but not nearly as much, because Shadow needs that stuff more than Sonic does. Doesn't really matter anyway, considering there's not really anywhere you're gonna be charging this thing. Oh, I gotta get out of there. Let's see. Spin kicking, similar to Sonic, no longer retains your running speed. The light dash is faster. Chaos attack. Let's look at the chaos attack. Number 1, it's slightly faster, but that's unnoticeable, so I won't demonstrate it. What I will demonstrate, however, is the extra attacks. Hitting the X button on any of the first 3 attacks will shoot a chaos spear. And on the 4th attack, will spit you out into a jump dash if the enemy is still there. So, just to sort of demonstrate that. That's what that looks like. And on the final attack, or the attack after the final attack, you get put into this state where you get a much larger range, as you saw with that enemy there, and also you can spam it like hell. And that's that attack. Also the cancel button is now on the B button, which I actually don't know if it really works, but you know, whatever. So yeah, X button functionality on the chaos attacks. Let's talk about the chaos kick combo, which is this thing. Number 1, you can use it at any speed so long as you are not holding the direction button. Number 2, it's got a bit of a larger range. As you can see there. Before it was kind of pathetic. Now it's basically an enemy tearing through machine. And it always plays a voice clip. Which you can hear there. Very slightly. Chaos Spear. Let's go ahead and start on over. roll on down. Switch to Shadow and show this off. The Chaos Spear has a much larger range, as you notice. And for some reason, it's doing the thing where it pulls to the right. Well, that's not supposed to happen. But, oh well. Sure hope I didn't change it or anything. Anyway, there's that. It also charges faster. You can see the exact moment it's done charging when the target appears. So it's basically instantly for just one and charge it for multiple. Another thing you'll notice is that they don't turn into lances, and there's a good reason for that. Oh, and it can also target 8 enemies simultaneously. I forgot to mention that. Okay. Sorry for swearing again. I do not like that laser attack. I guess I can just show off the Chaos Lance now, since the next two are Chaos Snap and Chaos Blast. Chaos Lance. First of all, level 2 Chaos Boost drains just as fast as level 1, and it's because the change is arguably maybe not even an upgrade. I don't know. But it deals 2 damage instead of 1. And this means that you can do that, which is pretty neat. And since it charges faster, you can also charge the big explosion thing faster. Anyway, you also might have seen that locking onto stuff, homing attacking, while boosted, is much faster than it normally is. Now it's more noticeably quick. Not instant. It takes about 7 frames to get from your location to the target, but it's definitely faster, and that's yeah. The homing state itself, you are invulnerable during, which is because in Flamecore, sometimes there's a lava pillar that catches you in the middle of a homing attack. And also, you can chain to many more enemies now. If we just go up here to this place that nobody ever uses. You noticed I chained to more than 5 enemies. So there's that. And that's it. And now for Chaos Blast. The range has been, well, increased. As you can see. Doubled even. And this is because Shadow deserves it. And, another thing about it, if I just really quickly go over here, show this off. It draws in rings, much like Supersonic's transformation thing. Shit. I mean, darn. That's what I meant to say. Let's show off one more thing, and that's Shadow's extra ability. You know his normal trick jump. Now if you hold the B button and do a trick jump, he does a high jump. And the height you gain is based off of your current speed, and the meter you drain is also based off of your current speed. Um, accepting that if you are full power, you do not drain any meter, and you also go higher naturally. So that's something. That's pretty cool. Is this useful? I don't know. But it exists. And it gives Shadow's skates something to do, I guess. Let's switch on over to Rouge. Her gliding is much faster, and it's also not as heavy as Knuckles' gliding. And it again takes an upward momentum. And similar to Knuckles, it spits you out into a jump when you hit anything. Let's see. The kick dive, which is this thing, is now not the same move as Knuckles. It's now its own thing, and it's for tearing through enemies, like you would if you were gliding. So there's that. Bombs are different. Now, their range is much bigger, and they don't lock on to anything. So you'll notice right over here, I'm looking directly at these guys, and no lock-on is happening. Yeah, they have quite a bit of range. So there's that. You can also move while you throw bombs. A little bit. They slow you down, but you can move while you do it. So that's pretty cool. The range of all bombs have been buffed. And the damage has been buffed on direct hits. It deals 2 or 3, I think. And there's an alternative camera angle for the sniping shot. Alternative camera angle for the bomb snipe. Nailed it. Her jiggle physics have been greatly reduced, as you can see, because before it was insane and felt a little bit creepy, in my opinion. Let's see. Oh yes, the wall bomb. I can't really show off the wall bomb all that well. But just trust me when I say it reaches about this far in all directions. And it deals massive damage. I have nerfed her jump from climb. And that is because she has the same climbing speed as before. So now it is actively slower to spam jump up a wall. Sorry. Is that all? I think it is. For Rouge. Real quick, I want to go over here and just throw a bunch of bombs at these guys. Beautiful. So she's a lot of fun to play now. A lot of changes, I know. I don't know how long I've been going, but we're still going. Omega. Lock-on laser. Locks on a bit faster. The bullets go faster, I'm pretty sure. And the bullets deal 2 damage instead of 1, as you saw with the leader there. And this guy, I guess. The Omega shot range has been increased. And it also deals 3 damage I don't know if it was originally like that, but it is here. And the Omega Launcher, which is this thing. I'll have to show this off on its own. The Omega Launcher deals crazy damage, but also drains your meter. Unless you're hovering? Hello? Okay, I was wondering what that bug was. Okay. Don't expect this to be a thing in the next mod release. His hover is a little bit different. Now, well, let me just show you. It takes in more momentum, but you also lower much quicker. Unless you hold the right trigger, in which you drain even more meter, but you apply an upward force to yourself. So there's that. And in the last release, you might, if you're aware, you might remember the Gatling gun camera was over his shoulder. It is no longer over his shoulder. It is now over his head like it used to be, and it looks a lot better. Now Rouge has the over-the-shoulder camera. Okay, let's go to Silver now. Levitation. Takes up less meter than it originally did. If you're not moving in any direction, you go straight up. This is to give you, like, if you fall off a ledge in Kingdom Valley or something, you can just hold the A button and go right back up. Otherwise, it behaves as normal. And it initially drains 2 meter points, which is unnoticeable, but I don't know. Don't worry about the teleport dash, we'll get to it in a second. Oh. Let's go ahead and start on over here. This works like, so cool. Works like Sonic's Bound Attack, and also you might notice it has a larger range and drains meter. But not only does it do that, it also, if we go over here, oh, while we're going over here, I guess I better show off the teleport dash. It's a big jump. The height you gain is dependent on your current speed, and your speed in the dash is depending on if you're going upwards or not. Anyway, this attack also draws in rings, and so does the grab all function, which has had a range increase. And it also costs meter. Let's see. The Psycho Smash has a larger radius. So there's that. The Upheave, which is this thing. First of all, draws the camera back. Second of all, the speed at which you go up is no longer capped. Now you just sort of lose speed as you go up. So there's that. One last thing about the teleport dash is if you're going downward, it actually builds your meter back up. Which, is never gonna happen in gameplay, because you never go downward. And that's all for the test stage changes. Now, we have to go into a stage to show off some of the other ones. I'm gonna pick Crisis City because it has both. Number 1. I have to pause to scroll back up on my changelog. The snowboard is slightly faster on the ground, and both Crisis City and White Acropolis. Rail speed has been increased quite a bit, because landing on a rail should be rewarded, not penalized. The turning sensitivity is a bit less sensitive in Crisis City to adjust for the, you know what I'm trying to say, the new speed. Shit. Okay. Yeah, turning is less tight. In White Acropolis, the turning is more tight. I think. Actually, we can quit out of that and go into Wave Ocean to show off a couple of things in Mach Speed. If we just switch to Rouge real quick. Fly over the entire level. This might take a second. I can go ahead and list off a couple of the Mach Speed value changes. Oh wait, no, we need rings. We have to go through the level. Okay. Mach Speed has had some various value changes. I don't even remember what they were. That's how little you're gonna notice it. Supersonic's rings drain a lot faster in Mach Speed, so we're gonna need quite a few rings. Most of the Mach Speed changes have to do with Supersonic and not normal Sonic. And also, roof launches have been nerfed a lot, which I will point out after we do Supersonic stuff. Huh? Okay, a little bit weird, but showing off the increased range here. Pretty cool. The ring magnet in Mach Speed increases with your speed. So if you're going faster, you collect rings from a further distance away. This is only if you're supersonic. Your jump height also increases the faster you're going. And there is added right trigger functionality, which I will explain later once we get to Wave Ocean. Well, we're in Wave Ocean. Once we get to the Mach Speed section. Playing it a little bit safe, so that we don't have to restart Wave Ocean. For the mod showcase. Also grabbing the extra 20 rings. I did it. Okay. When we load into the Mach Speed section, I want you to keep an eye on the ring count, first of all. Look at that. The rings go down quite quickly. First of all, if you jump and you hold right trigger, you fly. Holding the A button while you're flying goes up. Yeah. I should have just flown over. Whatever. Holding the right trigger on the ground boosts. And you also drain rings while you're boosting. Yeah. And I think, unless I missed some sort of change, that must be it. Yes. Okay. But before we go, I want to show off Rouge's the thing with Rouge that I was talking about. So let's open her tropical jungle, head through it. Oh, I forgot to mention, Shadow's Chaos Spear also works similarly to Rouge's bombs, except Shadow resets his speed much more quickly than Rouge and her bombs, since Shadow does not have wings. He also falls, just like Rouge, while you're charging Chaos Spear. Anyway, let me just put that down there and show this off. Okay. You might notice the lasers are gaining speed the longer that they're out. That's because they use the missile data, and I have made missiles gain speed the longer they're out. Rouge is very fun to play as. Anyway, we're not going to collect any keys. We're just going to go on over to the end. Because there's a trick that I did on accident one time. Because I was like, oh, does this work? And it does. So if you get a key down here, for example, something fun you can do is go ahead and go up here. Excuse me. Stop that. We're just ignore that. We're just gonna fly back on over there. And this time, nothing is going to stop us from creating all kinds of carnage. If you have a key here, like I do now, you can collect that, but then you can go up here, put a bomb up here. What this does is there's not enough time to go all the way back up. But, it clears out everyone. Anyway, that's that. Okay. My brain hurts, but I did it. So, enjoy.